Hey everybody, so last video I showed you the hardware of my arcade 1-up cabinet. Today I want to show you the software. So in this case I am running a PC running Bigbox. When most people set up their arcade 1-up cabs, they use Raspberry Pis with RetroPie, which is a great way to go. Pretty simple, gets the job done. In my case I did have a PC laying around, so I decided rather than have it laying in a closet or a garage collecting dust, put it in there. And plus, Bigbox is a really nice interface. Disregard the Gorilla Tape. Another thing I did have to do also was add USB ports in the front, because again, I didn't want to have to reach back there to hook up controllers or mouse or a keyboard. So this is my entertainment center. So as you can see, I do like to keep things pretty clean and simple. Having a tower, in my opinion, just made things look a little bit off, and also a little bit unsightly, especially when I'm playing my retro games, my emulated games, having to have wires. Unfortunately, I don't have wireless controllers, so there would always have to be wires running everywhere. So it wasn't the best situation. So here you can see video of the tower itself. This is already in the arcade 1-up cab. That's pretty big. A couple things I had to do in order to make it work was add a power button, because having to reach around and turn it on is not easy or fun. So now let's get into some of the menus. So again, this is Bigbox, and there are a ton of options to customize this exactly the way you want it. So this was created by Unbroken Software LLC. Shout out to them. Awesome software. One of the main things is the theme selector. So they have a lot of themes. There's not too many here on this particular selection screen. There are a ton on their forums. There's a ton. It took me forever just to look through all of them. Here I think these are just their best ones that they've kind of curated and placed here for you to download and to add. So plenty to choose from. One thing to remember about these themes, some of them are meant for 16:9, others aren't. So if you select one that's a 16:9 and you don't have a 16:9 screen, it is going to look a little crunched. Let's see. So I'm going to select one so I can choose it and apply it so you guys can see what it looks like. So let's take a look here. Let's go back to this one. Nope. Too far. Let's add this one. So I'm going to download this one right now. So we'll just wait till it finishes downloading, and then we'll go ahead, install it and apply it. Okay, so right, perfect. So it was installed. I'm sorry, it was downloaded. All right. So would you like to reset all of your platforms and playlists to use this theme as well? Okay, sure. Right, so we've gone ahead and added. So let's exit back out to the main screen. See what it looks like, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. Very retro pie-ish. I like it. I think I might keep this one. Very nice, very clean, yeah, I like this one. All right, so let's go back to the menu. So again, there's tons and tons of options. I won't go into all of them because there's just too many. The main ones that you have to remember is that you can shut down the PC, you can exit Bigbox, and then you can also make the PC go to sleep, all from this option. Okay, so now let's look at some games. So here the games are arranged in a carousel. On the top left, there is game information, like when it was released, the genre it's in. On the right, there would be a video snap. So again, very clean, very smooth interface. It's running on a PC, so you don't get the normal slowdowns that you kind of get on a Raspberry Pi. Runs super smooth. That's one of the benefits of running a PC. So let's find a game so we can look at some menus to see what other information we can access within Launchbox here, within Bigbox. So let's see. All right, so we have Street Fighter 3 New Generation. So here we can look up the different ROM versions of the game. We can play and stop the video. We can actually view the manual. So if you want to geek out, you can look at the manual of the original arcade cabinet, which is pretty cool. Spend a little bit of time looking at these. So they have schematics on how to wire the buttons, how to wire the joysticks, how to wire it up, warranty information. Pretty cool information if you want to geek out and just take a look. Pretty interesting stuff. So we have MAME options there. We can look at box art, which is cool. There's a video shot of the board, the marquee, the actual cartridge itself. And then you can just play the video, which if you don't want to actually go into the game and play it, you can just kind of leave that playing for kind of like, background. So which is pretty cool. So let's go into the game and then we can show you some more options. Now, this game, it's not going to work. So it's going to just kind of kick me back out. And the reason for that is because the particular ROM that's chosen doesn't work. So I chose the US version. And again, it's just going to kick me out. I actually have to use a specific version. I believe it's the Asian version that doesn't require the CHD or the CD. So this one should work. Now on some ROMs you will get this yellow or orange pop-up. It's basically just telling you that for this particular ROM there may be some errors. You'd be hard-pressed to find them unless you have the original game running side by side, but for the most part it'll run just fine. So now let's get into some of the MAME options that you can access through Bigbox. So here you can change controls or buttons for the entire emulator, or you can just change them for a particular ROM. So here, anytime that there's a game and the button is not matched correctly, or you just maybe want to change it to something else, this would be the place to do it. So it gives you some information on the CPU. Let's see. So here is actually a really cool one. This one gives you very, very granular options. As far as the way that the screen looks, you can add scan lines, you can change chroma, color, so many things to change. The only thing that I've really messed with are the scan lines. To be honest, there's a lot of options here. I have no clue what they do, like the phosphorus chroma. But there's just a ton. I mean, if you want to spend a few hours just playing with this, you can change bloom and TSC settings. There's just so much. The other one that I typically mess with is the aspect ratio. So this game, for whatever reason, the aspect ratio was incorrect. So I did have to switch it to a 4:2 or a 4:3. And then also you can switch orientation and do all kinds of stuff, especially if you have a cocktail cabinet, just in case you need to change the orientation. Now let's get into some gameplay. So here I just want to show you how smooth it runs. Sometimes not so smooth, I'll be honest. Sometimes, I'm not sure why, not sure if the PC just gets kind of hot or if it has something to do with the mechanical drive. Sometimes it can just kind of slow down and stutter. I think it has more to do with heat, because I noticed after I kind of cleared stuff up in the back and removed one of the panels, the temperatures, the fan doesn't come on as often. And it does run a lot smoother. So one of the cool things also that you can do with this cab, because if you guys remember, in the original arcades there was no pause button. Here, fortunately, there is a pause button. So if you're playing an intense game and you have to stop, as you just saw there, I can just go in and pause it. Another thing that the old arcades didn't have are save states. So here I can save a state, as I just did there. Now, unfortunately, with this ROM, it has particular problems with saving it. It still saves it, but it just gives you that pop-up saying that there's an error. So here I can load it. Again, gives you that same pop-up about a warning, but it did it just fine. So if you're playing an intense game and you're getting pretty far, you can just save it and come back to it. But yeah, as you can see here, running really smooth, really great. Got to get my practice in. To be honest, I wasn't very good at these games at all, and just playing with a gamepad it's nothing compared to actually playing with joysticks. So there, I just saved it again. So we'll go a little bit forward, and then I'll go ahead and load it back up. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Comes in handy. Definitely an unfair advantage, but hey, it does come in handy. So let's exit out here. Alright, so now I'm going to show you guys one of my favorite games, which is the Simpsons arcade game. So this is just a chance to take a look at another game, if I can find it here. Let's see. All right, there it is. So we'll go ahead and load it up. One thing to note is that for each game, you can download art for each game. So you get different art for the loading screen, for the exit screen, also for the pause screen, which I'll show you guys here. And then also one thing that it does allow you to do also is it does allow you to add or select hotkeys for each function. In this case, I'll show you here. I'll go ahead and load up. The hotkeys would be the coin button and one of the top buttons. So that just went straight into the game, loaded it up. This is a game that I've been trying to pass and I just haven't had the time. So having that save function is really helpful. So we'll go ahead and show you the pause screen and then we'll go ahead and exit out. Alright, so there's that exit artwork. So there you have it, guys. That is my arcade 1-up running Bigbox. I hope you enjoyed it. If you guys are thinking about switching over to PC, I definitely recommend it. It is definitely worth it. But thank you for your time. I do appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below. And also, please, if you'd be so kind, hit that like button.